When Marcus left town for a week, he only wanted one thing: peace. He'd worked 12-hour shifts straight and decided to spend a few quiet days visiting his mother in Georgia. But when he came back to his lakeside home, something instantly felt wrong. His private dock was wet, there were footprints on the deck, and empty champagne bottles floated near his boat, his pride and joy, the Liberty. Before he could even ask around, his neighbor whispered, "You didn't hear? HOA Karen threw a lake party on your boat." Marcus froze. She what? Apparently, while he was gone, the HOA president, Ms. Karen Mills, told everyone Marcus had given permission for the association to use his boat for a weekend celebration. She even posted pictures online, acting like she owned the place. Marcus clenched his jaw but didn't say a word. He quietly checked the security camera mounted on his dock. And what he saw next made his blood boil: Karen and her friends boarding his boat with cases of liquor, laughing, blasting music, and sailing away like it was theirs. But what she didn't know was that the Liberty had a GPS tracker and a Coast Guard ID tag registered under Marcus's name, a former Marine technician. When Karen took the boat out past the private zone, she triggered an alert straight to the Coast Guard database. Within minutes, a patrol vessel sped across the lake, sirens blaring. "Ma'am, this vessel is under federal registration," the officer shouted as Karen tried to play innocent, clutching her glass of wine. And that's when it hit her: this wasn't some neighborhood joyride. She was being detained on the water for unauthorized use of government-registered property. Marcus had been gone only 5 days. He'd locked his boat, secured his dock, and even told the HOA office to keep an eye on things. But the moment he returned home, something didn't sit right. His dock lights were on, tire marks covered the gravel, and his fishing rods were scattered near the shore. Then his neighbor, old Mr. Jennings, waved him over with that look, the one that said, "You're not gonna like this." "Marcus," he said quietly, "they used your boat for the HOA's lake party." At first Marcus thought he'd misheard. But when Jennings showed him a picture, Karen, the HOA president, in sunglasses, holding a champagne glass on his boat, everything clicked. The laughter, the music, the footprints. They'd taken his boat like it was community property. Marcus didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He just opened his phone, pulled up the GPS tracker he'd installed last year, and smiled. Let's see how far they went. Turns out, Karen and her little crew had sailed well past the HOA boundary, into federal waters. And since Marcus was a former Marine engineer, his boat was still registered under his old Coast Guard ID. That meant every time it crossed a certain zone, it pinged an alert to the local station. So while Karen sipped her wine, laughing about how the HOA deserved luxury, a Coast Guard cutter came speeding across the lake, red lights flashing, sirens echoing off the water. The moment they hailed the boat, Karen froze. "What's happening?" she stammered. "Ma'am," the officer said firmly, "you're operating a registered military vessel without authorization. Step away from the controls." Her jaw dropped. Her friends panicked. And Marcus. He stood on his dock, watching it all unfold, calm, collected, and recording every second. Marcus returned from his trip relaxed, sunburned, and ready for a quiet evening on the lake. But when he looked toward his dock, his smile disappeared. His boat, his custom 32-foot cruiser, wasn't where he left it. At first, he thought it might have drifted, until his neighbor muttered, "Karen took it." HOA party last night. He blinked. She what? Yep, Karen, the self-appointed queen of the HOA, had decided Marcus's boat was community property. She hosted a full-blown lake party, lights, loud music, drinks, all on his boat. She even posted selfies online with the caption, "HOA Summer Bash. Private ride, courtesy of the neighborhood." Marcus didn't waste a word. He opened his phone and checked the GPS tag. The boat was still out on the water, far past the HOA's permitted zone. His military instincts kicked in, calm, sharp, silent. He made one call. 10 minutes later, the Coast Guard was on the lake. When their patrol lights lit up the water, Karen's laughter vanished. "Excuse me, what's going on?" she asked, still holding her champagne glass. "Ma'am," the officer said, "this vessel is registered to a U.S. Marine veteran. Are you authorized to operate it?" Karen froze. I'm with the HOA." "Then you'll have no problem explaining that downtown," the officer replied. The crowd onshore watched as the Coast Guard escorted the boat back to the dock, and Karen, red-faced and trembling, was led off like a soaked cat. Marcus didn't gloat. He just said one quiet line as cameras flashed. "Greater than, next time, ask before you borrow federal property."